Okay, lesson 5, trig identities. I'm going to take the Pythagorean theorem plus the unit circle and come up with these interesting relationships of sine, cosine, tangent, secant, cotangent. Okay, so your book does it. I'll do it also here so you can see it step by step. Pythagorean theorem, is, well, if I'm in we're putting the unit circle together. So I choose any spot, it doesn't matter. And I got this is my y, to get to x comma y, right? And everything is a right triangle in the old coordinate plane, right? You can make everything a right triangle. So I have my y and my x, and if it's my unit circle, that's 1, and therefore, by the Pythagoras theorem, you got x squared plus y squared equals 1 squared, right? 1 squared. Okay, and because it's the unit circle, and we know our trig identities now, we know that y is the same thing as sine of the angle, right? So whatever this angle is to get over here, so I can set y. Let's see. Let's make sure we got this. I'm sorry. Here we'll just do this. So we got theta, right? So let's say sine first. Sine of theta equals opposite over hypotenuse, y over 1. So sine theta equals y. And then cosine of theta equals x over 1, right? Adjacent over hypotenuse equals x. So I can substitute in, I have y equals sine theta, put that in for y. So then I'll have, and likewise x is cosine. So substitute that in, and I will have, and we'll just put it, because they always put it in, I don't know why, in this order. Sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. So that's the biggest, most famous trig identity there, and that's how you get it. Okay, and then you can manipulate that a little bit. You can divide through by. So this is the first one, and then the other ones are just, and then you rearrange this, right? So then that means that sine squared theta equals 1 minus cosine squared theta, right? Just subtracting cosine from both sides, and also cosine squared theta equals 1 minus sine squared theta. Okay, so we got all these are all basically number 1, right? And then we're going to take and divide through by sine first. So you got sine squared theta plus, and your book has this, so if you want to skip this, it doesn't hurt my feelings too much. Whoops. Here we go. Divide by sine squared theta. Everybody gets divided, right? Both sides, sine squared theta divided by sine squared theta. So now this goes to 1, so then you have 1 plus, and cosine. Oh, okay, now be careful here, because, let's see, how did we get that other one? We got to remember here, recall that because tangent of theta, so we're going to use this one here, tangent of theta equals y over x, right? From this same triangle over here, right? Opposite over adjacent. And we we're looking over here, right? Sine theta is y and cosine theta is x. So there's another one. You've already got it memorized, I'm sure, that tangent of theta equals the sine theta over cosine theta. And then if you take the inverse, of course, you got cotangent of theta equals cosine theta over sine theta. Okay, so I have, so you got to remember these guys. Okay, and then, so then we got cosine squared theta over sine squared theta. So we got cotangent squared theta equals 1 over sine. What is 1 over sine? Oh, I'm sorry, not secant. Cosecant squared theta. Okay, so there's another identity. Okay, I just want you to, I want to walk through these just like your book did, because you see that it's not that difficult to get there. If you ever forget this, you can, it's kind of like a proof. This is how this little system works, and it's good to be able to glue all these things together in your brain. Okay, and then one more. Well, you can see what I'm about to do here, right? Now let's go with cosine squared theta plus sine squared theta equals 1. So if you ever see some of these weird things and you get confused, don't worry about it. You can always go back to sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1, and divide, manipulate, and you'll come to what the ones that you may have forgotten. So I'm divide through by cosine squared. So it's just playing around with this. At some point, people decide to play around with all these ratios. So this goes to 1, cosine divided by cosine. Sine divided, this is going to be tangent squared theta. And 1 over cosine is secant. So, oh, these things look so crazy complicated and everything, but you can see it all came from just the Pythagoras theorem and a unit circle, and combining those, substituting, and then getting silly and seeing, oh, sine squared theta plus cosine squared theta equals 1. Well, let's divide everybody by sine squared, okay, and see what we get. Well, that's what we get right there. Okay, and then let's divide everybody by cosine squared theta, and then see what we get. And that's what we get. I think that's all that you need to know now. You can keep fiddling around with these and getting all kinds of different relationships, but there we go. And so that's just that lesson. All right, and we'll use it next. We will. Your book has several examples, and I'm just going to let you go through those examples. Oh, everything's a little foggy right now. Hopefully the screen will adjust here. There we go. Okay, so we're going to go to lesson 5 activity 1 and lesson 5 activity 2, and please answer those yourself, and then I'll wade through them. Okay.